Hey everybody, Pete Herr, the Grumpy Geek here. I'm with John Spire of the Houston Outlaws, a professional gaming team, and he's going to kind of walk us through what that means with the advent, the growth of professional esports. So tell us a little bit about the Houston Outlaws.
Yeah, so Houston Outlaws are a franchised Overwatch League team. Really what that means is there's a company called Activision Blizzard. It's a publisher of a game called Overwatch. And they created a franchise league similar to the NBA, NFL, NHL, what have you, where a lot of professional organizations purchased permanent slots. So we are the Houston Outlaws. We represent Houston, Austin, San Antonio, College Station, Corpus Christi, those kinds of places. And we're a competitive Overwatch team. So we compete full time. We have a roster of 10 athletes that play games all over the world, competing in this title.
So all of these players get paid?
Yes, correct. So our franchise team, we actually have 2 players that are at this event. That's Jake and Vanny, and they are full-time salaried employees. We house them in Glendale, California right now because the matches are actually played out of the Blizzard Arena in Glendale area. And yeah, they're full-time athletes. They have a dedicated coaching staff. They have dedicated corporate staff that help with things like partnerships, which is what I do, but also social, marketing, events, things like that.
Okay, so how many teams are in the league that you play in?
Yeah, so the inaugural season was last year, and it had 10 teams. This year they expanded it into 20. So we're at 20 right now, and that's not just domestic, it's actually a global league. So you have us, the Houston Outlaws, but you also have Seoul Dynasty for Seoul, Korea. You have Shanghai Dragons from China. It's all over the world.
So one of the schools, we're from Buffalo, New York, one of the schools in Buffalo has actually created a collegiate esports team. Is that something that's happening all over the country as well?
Yeah, so there are about 50 plus programs that you can go to, 50 different collegiate institutions that you can have kind of a varsity level athletic scholarship for esports, right, is to compete on their teams and be part of those programs. So it's a big trend that we're continuing to see more and more growth in, and there's just a heightened level of normalcy, right? Traditional sports obviously are very, very prominent, but you're starting to see more and more collegiate esports come into the woodwork, and it's a huge pastime, but also a huge career path, right? You have these guys that can, be on those teams, get picked up by a pro team, and make hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars a year, depending on the game, depending on the team, just to compete full-time professionally.
So you got football, basketball, baseball, those things, endorsements and things like that are huge sort of pay bumps for the athletes. Is that the same thing in esports? Can they get sponsorships and stuff?
Yeah, so there are more team-wide sponsorships right now than there are individual sponsorships, but 2 of our partners are H-E-B, the grocery store based out of Texas, and T-Mobile. So those are the 2 that are actually represented on all of our competitive jerseys, but we have a variety of other partnerships as well that we work with. They provide some kind of benefits to the players, but also we do a lot of really fun integrated marketing, things like that.
So what do you tell a kid that wants to be a professional e-sport athlete?
Yeah, I'd say don't let people tell you that it's not a valid career path, and on top of just being a professional esports player, there are hundreds and hundreds of different job positions that you can do within the esports industry that supplement everything that's going on. So I guess my number 1 is probably get good if you want to be a player, obviously, but 2 is interpersonal networking is your number 1 asset, right? Get to events, be it local LANs or tournaments or shows like this. Meet the people that you want to work with or work for, or the teams that you want to be on, and develop those relationships.
That's John Spire from the Houston Outlaws, telling us a little bit about esports, the professional leagues. Thank you very much, John.
Happy to help.